Pinned. This game is a huge box. I'm really surprised at how beefy and heavy it is. This is the Kickstarter version or GameFound or wherever I backed it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you ever really do appreciate that support, thank you very much. So, like I said, huge box, and it definitely feels like it's got to be chock full of components. The back looks great, very exciting, shows me kind of what you're doing, but the game, this concept, I love roll and writes, but specifically this one had so much going on that looked cool. I couldn't help myself when the time came to back it. So it was a while ago, though. Been a while. They finally were able to deliver. So let's see. Definitely the biggest roll and write box I have in my collection. That's for darn sure. All right. It's got to be a 10-pound game. Okay. Looking into it now, first thing we've got is the rules. I've read them. They are complete. They're thorough. They spell everything out. Roll and write rules are kind of interesting, but you've got these here if you need any help. The reason I say they're interesting is usually with a roll and write, you've got a lot of like background you got to cover, and this game is no exception. I mean, you look at these sheets, there's all sorts of stuff you just have to explain, and it's just like this is that. But they all did it, or these rules did it pretty good. They talk about the gameplay, and it was all very well laid out. There weren't like a lot of examples per se throughout, but then at the very end, they did a great job with an entire example of how it flows. And I really appreciate that because that sincerely helps. Now, the solo game is basically a beat your own score. However, they do have score challenges if you put in these different seeds and figure out how to do that with the app. Okay, so the first thing we've got is this cargo manifest board here. And so you've got a lot of these, as you can see. And this is where you're going to be like crossing off things to gain badges, store goods, unlock certain things, or buy them, I should say. So you've got this. I think there's 100 of these. They're all the same. And then you have this board, which is kind of like your main. Okay, this is going to get me frustrated. This is your main crafting, or I guess you'd say player board, if you will. Tons of these bad lads. Single-sided. Don't know why they didn't do double-sided, but that's okay. And so here you've got all sorts of things going on. You've got places that you're crossing off. You've got places to plant stuff, places to have animals, just a lot of stuff. Even though I shouldn't say it's a lot of stuff. It's not that much, right? It's very colorful and everything else, but when you look at it, there's less, for instance, than some of the other heavier roll and write games out there, like Anarchy or Hadrian's Wall or whatever. Then you've got these it's like a lot of different colored markers here because you're going to use these when you're coloring different types of goods, etc., on your cargo board. So the colors do matter. Let's see here. All right, so then we have this, which is our player mat for the task cards, which drive the action in this game. So that's quite nice. All right. And then this is really kind of cool. So you got these coins for scratching off, because this game actually has scratch-offs in it. Then you have these big chunky dice that you're going to use. You're not really rolling these dice. You're using these little guys. So these are the small dice, the medium ones, and the large. And these are used when you get small, medium, large crops or small, medium, and large animals. And they go into this little area over here as you prepare that spot. We got a bag of bags. And then in this side, we have a bunch of these corporate commissaries. So these are just one-sided here, one per player, because this game can play up to 6. And this basically just tells you if I sell one of these types of resources, I'll get 1 coin, and I can then put one of these icons in my commissary board, which is that first one that I showed you in white. So that's just basically the price manifest. And then you're going to fill in what you sold in here and trying to basically maximize. It's almost like a Tetris game where if you get a full row across, you unlock a specific bonus. And then there's some other rules like they can't touch each other orthogonally. Same color, same game. Okay, now we've got some cards here, and these are going to be our task cards. Let's check these out from a quality standpoint. You know me, I'm always sleeving, but I can tell you if I feel like you'll need to or not. These cards are a little on the thin side, okay? So these are different goals and things you're going to be doing throughout the game. I'm going to definitely sleeve these. I kind of recommend that for everybody. Then you have the season 1 tasks. So this is season 3. So basically what this is this is your action selection kind of thing. How you can do, so season 2, season 1, season 3, and then these other cards dictate the type of actions and goals, etc. that you can take and you're shooting for. And as usual, once I learn the game and feel like I'm competent enough to give it a solo review, I will certainly solo review this one. So I'm just giving you an overview right now because while I've read the rules once, I, of course, have not played it yet. All right, and then you've got these cards right here, these other task cards. And these are, basically the different starter cards and then different things that you can do from a goal standpoint that you're shooting for, different actions, etc. All right. One more of these. Then we'll be looking at those scratch offs. All right, here we go. So yes. Yeah, I mean, they're just a little bit on the thin side. It's not going to kill anybody. They're not like it's bad quality by any means. I'm going to be sleeving mine. All right. Then you've got these little cards here, which are they're neighbor bonus cards. So basically, it's a way for you to give a resource to the player on the left or the right, or both, I guess, if you want to do it both ways. And when you give that resource, you're going to get some points at the end. They get a resource from it. And for every overage that, like if you give more than they give back to you, you get 3 points for every good that you've exceeded what they've done. So you've got, these things are actually upgrades, and so there's a lot of different things. So first of all, these are the neighborhood cards we're on the back. So these are like, I'll give this or this, and then I cross off one bonus. So you got a whole bunch of those. Then you get the 2 bonuses. And then you have these little cards, which are part of the dice game where I could unlock a geode, and then I can roll the dice and collect different icons and do some different fishing in different places. And this is a lot of how I'm gathering different types of goods. You have to unlock some of these cards. And so there's lots of unlockers that happen during the game. Okay, now let's take a look at these scratch offs. Now here's the deal. If you don't like scratch offs, you can actually use, first of all, I've got 200, so I'm definitely not going to get through these unless this is like the best game I've ever played and I play it 200 times, which would be fantastic. I'd love to do that. But I'm probably not going to be going through all of them. Anyway, if you are averse to that, there is a little online website that you can go to by scanning that QR code, and it just generates your own little scratch off kind of thing. So you definitely don't need to fear, oh, I'm going to exhaust this and what am I going to do, etc. So these are very interesting. They're super high quality. I'm assuming it's just going to scratch right off. I mean, it doesn't have the look of a lottery ticket, but I'm guessing it will, it will do just that. And that's what the metal coins are for. So just kind of interesting, really. I've never had a game that has, I've had certain games, I guess, that have scratch offs, like legacy games or whatever, but this is really cool. So all these are different, right? You never know what you're going to get. I got a box of 200. Now, there's a scratch off forest area over here, and there's a scratch off mine area, depending if you're going chopping or if you're going mining. And so there's 100 in that. I'm sure it's the same thing here. And yeah, same deal. So I just got the 2-pack. All right. So I'm very much looking forward to giving this a shot. And as always, once I do and once I get a good feel of it, I will certainly let you know what I think of it from a solo standpoint. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy.